Hi everybody. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about my second strategy, which again kind of follows the theme of being something that's quick, easy, provides a little bit of scaffolding for those students who need it, and really, quite frankly, doesn't require a lot of time to train the students nor a lot of time to assess on the teacher's behalf. And so I call it the one-sentence argument. I in no way made this up. This is actually based off of what I think originally was read, write, think strategy, which then I learned about through a book called Classroom Assessment Techniques, which is a college level. It's like a professor's assessment strategy summary. It's kind of a good book if you ever have a chance. Angelo and Cross. It's a pretty good book. It's a little expensive if I remember correctly, but on the other hand, it also gives you about 150 strategies or 120 strategies, something like that, to use for assessment. I don't use, quite frankly, I don't use a lot of them. I use just the basic ones. And some of the strategies are pretty, well, they wouldn't be news to a high school teacher, whereas they may be news to a college professor. So anyway, take that with a grain of salt. It's a good resource. I use it pretty often. I had to buy it for a master's class, so I do use it. Anyway, so this is a little different though. It's the one-sentence summary. If you've ever used it before, has you guys coming up with very simple questions that you use over and over and over again, which then help you determine a single sentence that's a summary for just about anything that you want to summarize. So I tried to do the same thing with arguments, and it's been pretty successful, at least to give the basic idea and to get the students a little bit more experience with what the general framework for an argument should be. As I've mentioned in the other videos, that my juniors and seniors, typically my juniors do pretty well, my seniors not so well, but they do well on most of the parts overall of an argument. But when it comes to the reasoning part, they have a little bit of trouble. And while this doesn't really focus on the reasoning in particular, it does sort of give the students kind of a scaffolded way to practice it a little bit. So here it is. It's just a simple spreadsheet. You guys know I love spreadsheets, so this is what I'm using here. And I'm using it for a specific reason, because I think you're going to see in just a minute that it helps, especially those students who are struggling or who are a little reticent to write in physics. It helps give them something to work with in a very simple way. Anyway, so if you go ahead and take a look, here's what mine looks like. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can move my screen around here. There we go. So take a look at it. This is the one-sentence argument. It's, again, in Google Sheets, and I'll show you why in just a minute. It has very simple questions, very straightforward, using as few words as possible. And then the students are expected to write their answers as succinctly as possible in the boxes provided. What then ends up happening is that there's a, let's see if I can show you here. There's a formula in the red cell, that concatenate formula right there, which puts them together with some linkages automatically. And so you're going to see as I type in here, it's going to end up populating this red cell right there. And then the students, once they have this framework, they have basically the sentence that they want to write. They just take a few minutes to clean it up and put it in this box right here, which I've colored red to kind of make it pop out when I grade it, because I'm getting old. So there you go. Anyway, so here's an example from physics, and I sort of tweaked it to be more something that you might do after a lab, or something that you might do when analyzing a graph for the evidence that it provides and the arguments that you can make as a result. So I'm just going to show you how this works here. Again, I'm going to enter my answers to these questions in this box right here, and then it's going to magically populate down here. And so let's say, what's your independent variable? Let's say that my independent variable in this case is time, which we often use in physics. And I'm going to leave my answers in capital letters so you can see you can kind of remember where my answers were when they get populated into the red cell down below. So you're going to see I'm going to hit enter, and I'll put time in seconds. There we go, just so I'm a little bit more thorough. And then you're going to see that it's going to magically end up right here. There we go. And so you can see it populated it there. Has what relationship? So let's say direct. Let's go positive, and direct relationship. Okay. So that's popped in right there. You can see. To what dependent variable? Let's say position. I don't know, I'm just making this up here, so you can kind of get a sense. Under what conditions? When under ideal conditions. There we go. And why? Because, I don't know. I'm just going to go blah, blah, blah here so you guys get the idea. And then supported by what data. And so you come down here to the final thing, as seen in the slope of the graph of the scatter plot. Found in our lab activity. Okay. I don't know. I would want the students to be more specific than that, but I'm just trying to give you an example here. So here we have a sentence. Time in seconds has a positive and direct relationship with the position when under ideal conditions because blah, blah, which is supported by as seen in the slope. So, okay, you can see that sentence isn't perfect, but it's pretty close to a pretty thorough description of why they think, what they think, what their conclusion is, and why they think it. And so they should be able to then come down here and clean that up and make it into an actual human-sounding sentence other than something that really just the computer put together. You could also increase the number of these or change the prompts right here, and then you could also change the formula that you see in there. You can see this formula right here. I just put in to make this kind of all come together. Concatenate is a word or a command in programming language that puts strings together, and strings are groups of characters. And so what I'm saying is put all the characters from B4, that's this cell right here, together with a string that has a space and then has a space, and then put those together with the characters from B5, which is right here, and then the next string, and so on. And so it concatenates it for us and gives us a pretty good summary statement there, composite statement right there. And so the students then can come in here and they can type whatever they want, blah, blah, blah. And it's nice and big and red, so it's easy for old people like me to see. So you get the idea. I could also do this, modify it a little bit for other examples. And so let's say I wanted to do a geometrical proof for this. I could put that together like something like this, where I could say what is given A line, let's do lines A, B, and C, D are parallel. So this would be like what you'd start off with in a geometrical proof. What shape? So let's say angle D, is what is being proved. And that should have a, sorry, there we go, what's being proved, there it is. Is congruent to angle A. And then what's the first step? Well, you could say, and then this is where you could actually say all of the steps in the proof, right? Angle A and B are congruent because of I don't know, vertical angle, the vertical angle theorem, or whatever. It's geometry was a long time ago for me, so I'm doing the best I can. Anyway, and so you could go on and you can see that I'm just going to put in some text here. There you go. So at the end, you have this sentence again. Given that lines A, B, and C, D are parallel, the angle D is proved to be is congruent to angle A. So obviously, I'll need to fix up the wording there, because angle A is blah blah blah, and B angle blah blah blah, and C angle blah blah blah. And so you get the idea that in the end, they come up with one sentence that sort of summarizes the whole thing, and it really. It's not anything earth-shaking, but it is something that I think that the students, they might need a little bit of scaffolding to kind of see how that process works. And then having it all in one sentence for them already makes the actual writing of a sentence argument much clearer, I think. I don't know. I hope that helps. Again, here's the template. You're certainly welcome to modify it any way that you need to. If you have any questions on it, let me know. I'll be walking around. Sorry this is a little bit longer, but hopefully you listen to it on 1.5 speed, or if you're really crazy, 2 speed, like my students do all the time. So that's pretty awesome. Anyway, good luck, have fun, and ask me if you have any questions. Thanks.